Now Samuel had died, and all Israel had lamented for him, and buried him in Ramah in his own city. And Saul had put the mediums and the spiritists out of the land. Then the Philistines gathered together, and came and encamped at Shunem. So Saul gathered all Israel together, and they encamped at Gilboa. When Saul saw the army of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. And when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him, either by dreams, or by Urim, or by the prophets. Then Saul said to his servants, Find me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servants said to him, In fact, there is a woman who is a medium at Endor. So Saul disguised himself, and put on other clothes, and he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night. And he said, Please conduct a seance for me, and bring up for me the one I shall name to you. Then the woman said, Whom shall I bring up for you? And he said, Bring up Samuel for me. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Saul, saying, Why have you deceived me? For you are Saul. And the king said to her, Do not be afraid. What did you see? And she said, An old man is coming up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed down. Now Samuel said to Saul, Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up? And Saul answered, I am deeply distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and God has departed from me, and does not answer me any more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Therefore I have called you, that you may reveal to me what I should do. Then Samuel said, So why do you ask me, seeing the Lord has departed from you, and has become your enemy? And the Lord has done for himself as he spoke by me. For the Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand, and given it to your neighbor David, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord, nor execute his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will also deliver Israel with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. The Lord will also deliver the army of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. 1 Samuel chapter 28, verses 3 through 19. When God chooses a person, a pattern of testing appears to take place at specific times in that leader's life. God often takes each leader through 4 major tests to determine if he or she will achieve God's ultimate call on his or her life. Each person's response to these tests is the deciding factor in whether or not he or she can advance to the next level of responsibility in God's kingdom. Control is one of the first tests. Saul spent most of the time as king trying to prevent others from getting what he has. Saul never gets to the place with God in which he is a grateful recipient of God's goodness to him. Saul is a religious controller. This control leads to disobedience and ultimately to being rejected by God because he no longer is a vessel God can use. A second test is bitterness. Every major character in the Bible is hurt by another person at one time or another. Jesus is hurt deeply when Judas, a trusted follower, betrays him. Despite knowing this is going to happen, Jesus responds by washing Judas's feet. Every chosen leader will have a Judas experience at one time or another. God watches us to see how we will respond to this test. Will we take up an offense? Will we retaliate? It is one of the most difficult tests to pass. A third test is power. Power is the opposite of servanthood. Jesus has all authority in heaven and on earth, so Satan tempts Jesus at the top of the mountain to use his power to remove himself from a difficult circumstance. How will we use the power and influence God entrusts to us? Do we seek to gain more power? There is a common phrase in the investment community, he who has the gold rules. Jesus models the opposite. He is the ultimate servant leader. The fourth test is greed. This is a difficult one. Money has the ability to have great influence for either good or bad. When it is a focus in our life, it becomes a tool of destruction. When it is a byproduct, it can become a great blessing. Many leaders start out well, only to be derailed once prosperity becomes a part of their life. There are thousands who can blossom spiritually in adversity, but only a few can thrive spiritually under prosperity. What about you today? Are you aware when you are being tested? You can be confident that each one of these tests will be thrown your way if God is calling you for his purposes. Will you pass these tests? Why not ask for God's grace today to walk through these tests victoriously? And have a blessed day.